Welcome to Ask Loz, the video series where I answer your most pressing manifestation questions. This week's question is about having an affair with a married man and how to make that man your partner. Let's go. So if you're in a situation like this, where you are in a relationship with a person who hasn't claimed you yet and is still with someone else, this is the video for you. Welcome to Ask Loz, guys, the video series where I answer your most pressing manifestation questions. Now, you can send your question in to me and I will answer them if you do it through my website. It's called Ask Loz. You send me a form like this person has. You ask the question, you give me more of the question, and then you give me detail about your childhood, because it's your childhood I need to know about. And if I don't know about that, it's hard for me to answer the question because, as you know, if you've ever watched me before, your childhood tells you everything you need to know about what's happening to you now. And this is a textbook case of when I read the person's childhood, it's really obvious why what's happening to her is happening to her. And unfortunately, because this person who sent in the question hasn't actually done any of my courses, she hasn't even done my free courses, she doesn't have the slightest clue why this is happening. Now, if she'd even done my free course, she might understand that her consciousness of being, what she thinks about herself, is actually causing this situation. But if she'd done my self-concept course, she would have done the self-concept assessment, which would have brought up for her abandonment issues and her feelings of being unchosen, and she would know exactly why this is happening. Then if she'd done my Worthy as Fuck for Love course, she would know exactly what to do in love about this. It delves even further into the actual situation itself, the specifics. Now, let me read the question and you guys will understand why I'm saying what I'm saying about her childhood manifesting the exact situation she's in right now. And when you hear what the childhood was like, you'll know exactly why if you've ever watched me before. So let's get to the question. How do I make my married sugar daddy my partner? Now, I'm going to get back to that part of the question in a minute. It's the word make I have a problem with. How do I make my married sugar daddy my partner? And what in my self-concept made me manifest this situation? Well, that's great. I'm glad she's saying what in my self-concept made me manifest this. So she understands that she's manifested the situation with this person the way it is. And what does she need to change inside herself, her concept of herself, to change it, because she understands she caused it. So ticks for that. The thing I have an issue with is the fact that she said, how do I make my married sugar daddy my partner? You can't make anybody do anything, guys. We're not making people do shit. We're not waving wands like magic and making them change. We change. They are our reflection like a mirror, and then they change like a mirror in our bathroom. I don't change the mirror in the morning. I put the makeup on my own fucking face. So she's kind of contradicting herself here with the question, because she understands it's her self-concept that caused it, but she's thinking she's making him do something. No, she's not. Let's go into a bit more detail. I've got myself into a situation with a married man. He gives me an allowance monthly and we do things a normal couple would do. Now, the word allowance brings alarm bells to my mind straight away, because that's what a child gets. So, an allowance is what a child would get, like pocket money, or an allowance to spend money. So she's kind of in a parental and child relationship, or a being kept woman relationship. And that's why she put in inverted commas in a question, her sugar daddy, because he literally is being one, like a daddy. That's why it's called a sugar daddy, because it's a parental child relationship of allowances. Understand? He gives me an allowance monthly and we do things a normal couple would do. I bet you they actually don't. I think she would do things a normal couple does, but see, hidden, secret, that's not normal. So even though she thinks that's normal, is she doing it out in public with everyone to see? If it isn't, that's not normal. So that's one thing she's misunderstood about what's actually happening here. Because if it was out in public, it wouldn't be an affair, would it? So that's not that normal as much as she thinks it is. I don't want his money, I want him. I have a full-time job, so don't rely on him. So it's interesting why she's taking the money in the first place. Trying to live in the end, but find it hard when he pays me or mentions his wife. So let me just go back a bit here. When he pays her, okay? And I'm not judging this girl at all, but I need her to understand what she's even written here. Paying her for what? For being the kept woman, for being the affair, for being sexual with him? What's he paying for? Right? So what she needs to understand is this is like a transactionary relationship. You give to me and I give to you. This is all I'm going to give you. All I'm going to give you is a bit of time and money. That's all you're going to get from me. You're not going to get commitment or anything else. You're just going to get what I choose to give you. Now, I'm not judging this girl at all. I've been in situations, not sugar daddy relationships, but with people who are taken and not realize they are, or when I've realized they are, I still kind of stuck around, right? So I understand this, okay? What she needs to understand is she's put herself in a position where she will never be the wife because she's acting like the hooker. And I don't mean to say that rudely, but you need to understand the situation you put yourself in is how they'll see you. So if this is transactionary, he won't see you as anything other than an actual transaction, and he won't see you as the person you want to be, which is the wife. So if this girl actually wants to not be in a sugar daddy relationship with him, she needs to not be in the situation where she is the person taking the money, where she is the person being kept, because otherwise that's the position she's keeping herself in, and that's all she'll be. Because why would he give that up when she's allowing the situation to perpetuate? She's still giving him what he wants and allowing him to stay married, which is what he wants. So why would he change? He's got no reason to change. He's getting everything he wants, but she's not getting what she wants. But she's giving him what he wants all the time and expecting things to change. They won't, because he's getting what he wants. Right? Trying to live in the end, but find it hard when he pays me or mentions his wife. Well, my question would be, why are you even allowing him to pay you? That's what I would ask you. And it sounds to me like she's doing it because it keeps her there, or it makes him feel less guilty, or I'm not entirely sure why, if she has a full-time job and she doesn't rely on him financially, why she even takes the money. That's interesting to me, and I would like to know more about that. But if you listen to the childhood, you'll understand probably why she's doing it. So let's find out more about her childhood. Grew up in London with my mum and nan. Dad lived in Africa as he ran businesses and only saw him once a year. Oh. So what was the dad's priority in her life? His business. Money. So what was her dad as a father? Was he there giving her time, attention, love, affection, or was he a transactional dad, a person who the family relied on financially, who they only saw once a year? Oh my God, sounds like her relationship. So when it suits her sugar daddy to see her, she sees him. When it suited her dad to see him, she saw him once a year. My mum worked, so mainly got brought up by my nan, who died when I was 15. Well, there's an abandonment thing right there. So you were technically abandoned by your dad, physically, because he was only there once a year. Then your mum wasn't around, so there's another abandonment tick on the I've got abandonment issues scale. And then your nan actually died when you were 15, which will still massively influence you because that's very young. Dad came to live with us when I was 12. Mum criticised my weight a lot, which resulted in anorexia as a teen. Well, it's not the criticising your weight a lot that results in anorexia. So let me give you the tip that that's not actually what causes it. You might think that's what caused it, but when your life feels out of control, that's when an eating disorder will start. Now, criticism obviously doesn't help, but it's the out of controlness that you feel that causes you to take control of your body in an eating disorder way, whether it's binge eating or anorexia, okay, or under eating or over exercising. So this sounds like a very out of control situation this girl was in. She didn't have control over who she got to live with, what happened to people in her reality, like someone actually died who she cared about. She didn't have control as to when she saw her dad or her mum. And then the dad came to live with them when she was 12, but she obviously probably hadn't established a good enough relationship with him for it to be a close relationship by the time he came to live with them at 12. So everything was kind of beyond her control. And what's the situation with her sugar daddy? Beyond her control. He controls the whole thing. He's in control. She's not. So she basically got herself in a situation where she yet again feels out of control. And that's why she said the word make him. Make my married sugar daddy my partner. She feels out of control. because he's controlling the whole thing. And if you want ultimate control over someone as a guy, what do? Do you know? You make them financially beholden to you, because that's a control mechanism. Okay? So if people give you gifts and nice things and make you feel good financially with monetary gifts and things, it's a way of controlling the situation, because they can say things like, but I give you gifts, but I do X, Y, Z for you, but I give this to you and you're being ungrateful. I can't give you the time I want, but here's a gift. Here's some money. Here's an allowance. They're controlling the whole situation by it being a transaction-only relationship. And then the girl's going to feel out of control, but she's technically being controlled yet again, or in an out of control situation yet again, that the other person is completely in control of, kind of like a parent. That's why they're called sugar daddies. So if she doesn't want to be in a sugar daddy relationship, she should stop taking the money, first of all. Now, I wonder why she hasn't. And the reason why she hasn't is she's too afraid to stop, because then she wonders what that would mean. Right? So sometimes when people are giving you things and you say, I don't want that anymore, then you might start waking up to what they're not giving you. Like, oh, I'm getting money, but now when that's taken away, what am I actually getting? I'm getting limited amounts of time with this person that isn't really a proper relationship, even though it seems like normal couple stuff, like lying in bed or going for breakfast in a secret place or sitting in a park or going for a walk at night. I'm not really getting the full relationship, am I? So I need this girl to understand that she's not actually getting what a normal couple would do. Normal couples aren't in transactional relationships where they get an allowance like the person's a child. And if they are in those kind of marriages, they feel like a kept woman and they feel like they can never leave, because if they did, well, they're out of control, right? They don't have any control over where their money's coming from now. Not they're out of control, but that person was controlling them with money. Now, I'm not saying this guy's got control issues or is trying to even control her, but he is in control of the way this is playing out. So I need this girl to understand that what she needs to do is take back control in her mind. Now, I'm not saying she has to split up with him or stop taking money from him or stop spending time with him or stop having the affair. I'm not saying any of those things. What she needs to do is start saying, I am in control of what happens to me. I am in control of the love in my life. I am in control of how much love I get given, the time I get given, the attention I get given, the affection I get given. I'm in control. Because for her to tell me that she had anorexia as a teenager is telling me she feels out of control. And that's one of her major things she hasn't recognized. Okay? And if you feel criticized by not being enough, you will try and change to suit the person to make them happy. So I don't know how much she does in this relationship to make this guy happy, but it could be things like taking the money because it makes him feel good to take the money because he feels guilty, so she takes it. Or she spends time with him at times when he can because she doesn't want to cause an argument. She doesn't want to lose him. She does things to make him happy because she doesn't want to rock the boat and she doesn't want to feel bad, okay? Could be things going on like that. And that's also what happens when you take criticism, you just take it. So she's in a situation where she's just taking what she gets given, like the crumbs. You're going to give me the crumbs, I'll just take what I get given. And a way that a person makes you feel better about the crumbs that you're getting in the relationship, the affair relationship, is to give you money on top of it so it doesn't look so crummy. The limited time you're getting doesn't look so crummy. The non-romantic outings you have where you're just in hotel rooms or in bed don't look so shitty, don't look so sexual, don't make you feel like a hooker. And I'm saying that to be really harsh because I need you to understand that's eventually how affairs make you feel. Don't you deserve, darling, to be the chosen person? Don't you deserve to be the wife? Why are you choosing not to be? And you can say to me, oh, because he's married, because he's in this situation. My question to you is, why did you even choose this person in the first place? And if you say to me, oh, but I didn't know he was married when I met him, why did you stay when you found out? I'll tell you why. Because this feeling of having no time, this feeling of being a kept person, this feeling of the person not being there for you and giving you the time and attention and love you need is so familiar to you, you don't understand what a proper relationship really looks like. So until such time as you decide you deserve that, you won't be in one and you can't make him do anything. And I know that's not what you want to hear. A lot of you come to me expecting the magic bean answer. It's kind of disturbing to me that you've not even done my free courses. Although you probably watch my content, which is good. You really need to do the free course at least, the Everything You've Learned About Manifesting is Wrong, to understand your consciousness of being. And I'd really suggest you do the Worthy as Fuck for Love course, because that will really help you. Because you need to understand you have to take responsibility for how this situation has showed up. And you can't make him do shit. All you can make yourself do is change your own thinking about you and him and the situation. So, you can live in the end all you fucking like, darling, seeing you and him happily married, but that won't eventuate until such time as you see yourself as the person who would have that. And a person who never had that as a child, who never had that time and attention and affection and love, and everything was on somebody else's terms, they won't be having that anytime soon until they decide that everything's on their terms, that they are in control, that they get the love and affection and attention now. I am loved. I get all the attention I crave. I get all the time. They spend so much time with me. They love to show me off. I've met everyone in their life. They have claimed me as their own because I deserve that. And I deserve to be shown off. I deserve to be the wife or girlfriend. I deserve that. And I love that feeling. And I don't hide away anymore. And I'm not afraid of being in a real relationship anymore. I love the feeling of being in a real, committed relationship. I love the feeling of being the girlfriend. I love the feeling of being the wife. I love to be shown off. I'm not a dirty, kept little secret anymore. That's not me. That's the old me. That's the stuff you need to say, as well as living in the end with them. You understand? I really want you to step into the state of, I am loved and I deserve this, but also I'm in control of this. And if I can change my thinking to the thinking that I do deserve it, and I am worthy, and I have this now, then you'll feel more in control of the whole situation. The other thing you could do, darling, is find someone else who isn't taken, who doesn't reiterate all your familiar feelings of not being given the love and time and attention you crave. That's the other alternative. But I know you don't want to hear that. But a lot of the time, and I'll just explain this to those of you watching, a lot of people in my group don't want their specific person anymore once they've come to me and once they've really listened. And once they've really, really worked on themselves, they realize they deserve a shit ton better. And somebody else comes along and claims them as their own and shows them off and makes them feel amazing and special and isn't a sugar daddy, they're their boyfriend. And they show them off as the girlfriend. Some of them even get engaged to that new person, and it's happened in my group. Don't you deserve that, darling? Don't you deserve that feeling? And if you've really got an old story that this person isn't going to give that to you, then that's the story you really need to change, as well as the story about you. If you see him as the kind of guy who's never going to leave his wife, that he keeps you because financially that's all he can do, that's all he can give you is financials, is money, but he can't actually leave the wife, then you're going to have to consider whether you can stay with this person, because if you don't change that story about him, he won't change. And you won't make him do shit because the story you hold about him is so bad. He can't leave because of X, Y, Z. Do you have that story? Whatever that story is, please get rid of that too. So you've got 3 things to do. Living in the end with your person. Great, you're already doing that. The biggest thing is seeing yourself as the person who's claimed and cherished, and I get the love now and I get the attention. You can go and write letters to both your parents and make them understand, even with your mum not around, okay? Oh, sorry, with your nan not around. Write one to your nan, one to your mum, and one to your dad about how you felt in those relationships with them, okay? And you don't have to give them the letters, obviously. You're writing it and reading it out as if they're hearing you. So make your dad understand how you felt when you were a little kid, when you only saw him once a year. Make your mum understand how you felt when she used to criticize your weight. Make them understand. Write it all down. When you said this to me, I felt this. When you were never there, I felt this. And that made me think X, Y, Z about me. But I'm not going to be that girl anymore. And say those affirmations I gave you before. Then I want you to change the story about him and decide he is the guy who'll leave his wife. He does choose you. He isn't your sugar daddy. He's your boyfriend. And change the story about him and all the reasons you've clocked up in your mind as to why he won't leave. Get rid of those too. All right, darling, I hope that's helped. And guys, if you're in that same similar situation, you're in some kind of affair situation, or a person isn't choosing you yet, or they've got a third party, it's the same thing. Investigate what happened to you in your childhood that's actually correlating with what's happening to you now and making you feel this is familiar territory. I bet you if this girl had a guy who came along right now who claimed her as his own and showed her off, it'd feel so fucking weird to her, she wouldn't accept it. She'd be like, what's with this clingy, obsessive dude? No, darling, that's what love looks like. Love is when you get shown off. Love is when they spend time with you. That's what real love is. Things a normal couple would do is being out in public, being shown off. That's a normal couple. What you're experiencing isn't normal, but it's normal to you because that's all you got as a kid. Understand? And I know that's really hard to hear. So I want you to step into the state of the girl who isn't that girl anymore, and she deserves so much better. All right, guys, if you want to ask me your question, you can send in your Ask Loz form on my website and I'll answer you with a video. See you next time.